Good morning, boating banner fans. Here we are, Chapter 4. We're going to get into industrial sewing machines. Today, I'm going to break it up. I was going to do both at the same time. I have the Sailrite LS-1 product, and I also have a Singer 44, which is from the 40s, that I want to go over also. However, I think it'll be too much to try to put it onto one video, so let's break this up. And I'll show you a few things here, how to thread this and how to do your bobbin. And I'll show a couple of demonstrations on the power of this little thing. And also we're going to make some piping today. So that will be more than enough. I got this from Sailrite. Sailrite's an excellent company. They have excellent videos. And they have nice product. You can get similar machines, probably maybe cheaper other places, I'm not sure. I just like to support them because they were so helpful in getting me going in the boat rehab business. This one is the bottom line. It's almost $600. I think they may have sales on it from time to time, but you can expect to pay $550 to $600 for this. And this is the V-Basic machine. It can do almost anything you need to do. And they have a lot of others. And if you go online or you go to Sailrite, you can see machines, thousands and thousands of dollars. Very expensive, and unless you're doing an awful lot of boat redos, I don't know how you can justify doing that, going that high. So this is the base model. Does everything I need and more. And so I'm very happy with it so far. I've had it for a while, and it's done me well. Okay, let's get down to the basics of the machine here and what you need to do to kind of get this thing going. First thing you need to do is you need to wind your bobbin. This comes with a thread stand. A little cheap, but it works excellently. I like to keep it kind of a far distance from my machine. That stretches out the thread a little bit better. Also, to do my threading, I need my cheaters because I'm getting old. Okay, the first thing you do is you take your thread. What I like to do is, it has a little thread holder here for the small spools. I don't use them, but that's what it's for. So I like to put my thread in the top hole that's kind of going out facing me, and that lines up the thread a little bit better for me. Then I bring it over here to the pigtail. You wrap it around the pigtail once. Then there's a little resistance wheel. Just wrap that once, pull it in there. So get in there, you little guy. Pull it in there and just hold the thread, just tighten it a little bit so it sinks, goes into the wheel. Okay, and I recommend you put it in the top hole, one of the top holes. There's a lot of them there. Grab a hold of it, pull it up, and get it all the way down on your spindle, your bobbin shaft winder, and then push it back. Then this is the drive pin for your flywheel. You pull that out because you don't want your other mechanisms going. You just want your bobbin thing to spin. Give it a little tension, get it up, step on the wheel. I'm going to go for a little bit to get a handle on it. Then I snip it off, and then I finish. Now this will stop by itself when it's almost fully wound. As you see, the bobbin stops winding. So you pull it out, and then you pull it up. Well, you look down it up, and then you cut it off. You want to leave some. Oops, I got some rat nest there. You want that. Okay, make sure she's tight. You want to leave some extra so the mechanism down there can catch it. Okay, let's rock the machine back and expose the inner sanctum here. You want this to go clockwise, around like that. And here is your bobbin retaining mechanism. You just pull that little lever, take it out, put the full bobbin in there, let it go, and then the other bobbin, if there's one in there, will fall out. And you take your bobbin. Oops, it's coming unwound again. Not good, not good. There. Hold out that little lever, stick it in, and then you'll see right here, you have the bobbin tension. So you bring it up, there's a little groove there, slip it in the groove, under the bobbin tensioner. That's a little pull, everything's going good, yep. And then I pull out the lever again, and then you stick it back in the bobbin holder, and make sure that the arm is in the little cutout V there, and it's a little bit long. Then so you want to leave enough thread down here, I don't know, 6 inches or so the arm can catch that when you're threading it. Okay, bobbin is done. Now let's thread the machine. I need cheaters for this. All you need to do is unwind it from that little bobbin tensioner disc, leave it in your pigtails. Again, go through here, through your pigtails. Just want to do a barber pole-like thing here. In the first hole, and wind it over, and then up to the last hole. You just need those two. So you have just one little curly through there. Now this is, now you bring it down here to this tensioner, and just make sure your foot is open, otherwise you won't be able to get the thread in. So you put the thread around, you'll see a little spring there. Catch it with that spring, that gives it tension. See the spring going up and down. All kinds of tension you need. Then up top you have the arm, the hole, you put it through that hole. You run it down this slit. And right here on the top of the needle, there's another hole. You need to stick it through there. And now we're ready for going through the thread. I mean through the needle eye. I always go from left to right. So we'll go on this side. Hope you see that, and then just go through the needle and then pull it. Make sure all your other stuff is all set. Looks good. Now, we pulled this pin out for doing the bobbin line. Now we have to put it back in to engage. For any one of the holes, you stick it in and move it a little bit. Boom, then you'll feel it click in. And now everything is synchronized. And now we have to go get that thread that we left from the bobbin. So we hold it up, modest amount of tension, and then we roll it forward. Now we have picked up the bobbin thread, and we just get anything. I use scissors. Pull it out. Boom. And there's the bobbin thread. Here's our thread from the spool. And then we'll just stick it back down in the hole that the needle goes through on the foot. And then grab it. And now you have threaded the machine. I leave the tails out to the northeast side. And now we have threaded the machine and she's ready to go. Probably should stop here and just go over a couple of things. This is the oil that comes with the machine. It's very good, a little hard to work with. There's a lot of, they have an excellent video and manual about all the spots you need to oil. I saw one guy doing work, and every single time he did a project, I mean just a strip, he was oiling the bobbin holder. And now I see why. If I've had one problem with this machine, it's that literally the loop getter down there, the bobbin holder, freezes up on me. Literally stops this machine dead. And the only reason I can think of it is the fact that there's not enough oil down, not enough lubrication, because it does kind of float in the air there. Sailrite has this, actually less expensive. And I bought this from Amazon. And it's just a lubrication. What I like about it though, see, it has a long tube on it, and you really can get anywhere you want. So I recommend you buy this. I mean, these are okay, but they're just harder to work with. This one here really works quite well, and you can almost get every place that there's probably 20 oiling spots on this machine. So anyway, boom. And just before we start a project, they also have needles, and you can get needles everywhere. These Schmidt's are probably the best. Very friendly, both Singer and to the Sailrite products. They give you the description. You got to make sure you line up with the right one. What size? The size you use is 20. This is what I use when I do Tenera, that thick thread we talked about the other day. But they're all over the place. As a matter of fact, they're very inexpensive, and you should change them probably every time you start a new project, which is about what I do. Again, Sailrite has an excellent recommendation on what products you're going to be working on, what thread and what needle they recommend size-wise to do the project. So anyway, if nothing else, get this Sailrite catalog. It's the 15 version, because it has very good references in there on snaps and grommets and needles and thread and that type of thing. So it's a good resource for you. Okay, people like to demonstrate how powerful the machine is. So I guess I need to do that too. This is some regular vinyl I use on my projects. I always save you scraps, because you really need to check your thread quality and your sewing and your seams and all that before you start your project. Also, they have this electronic foot pedal. I really like it. Why I like it the most, as you'll see when I compare it to the old Singer product. Very good control. I mean, you can really, I'll show you how you can really walk this thing around, and if everything else fails, you can just roll this flywheel by hand. In the Singer, it's very hard to do. So let's just, you put your foot down, of course. And hold, when you first start, you got to hold these trailing threads, both from the bobbin and from the reel. So just put a little bit of pressure on it. Start. Okay. And I go up and on. Then you should always go backwards. It has a nice backwards lever there. That locks your thread. Stitch. And this also regulates the width that each of your strokes will be. From all my work, I go in the 6 millimeter. It works the best. You don't want to punch too many holes in your vinyl, so I don't know, a depth of 6 millimeters per stroke is probably good. So this can go up for the 6, go down, or reverse 6. And you have a control knob here, so you want to put it in the middle. You don't want to go 6, you want to only go 4. You can do that just by turning it down so it can't go all the way up. So it only does a 4 millimeter, for example. But I always leave mine at 6. So anyway, all the way, so it's buried, fattest part. Then you lift your foot up and twist. Then you don't lose your stitch direction. No, then you put it down and then you start again, and you get a perfect right angle there. Whereas if you try to do it continuously, I guarantee you it's not going to be a right angle. And if it's important to you, then you spend the extra second to do that process. Again, it's needle all the way down to the fattest point, foot up, twist, foot down. Always remember the foot down, and you'll end up with a crow's nest under your thing. And then, okay. The other thing they forgot to tell me is when you stop, you have to have this arm that goes up and down all the way in the up position. Because if you don't, there's a bunch of thread down there, and it turns into a mess. So make sure anytime you stop, and you're going to remove your product and cut the thread and all, and make sure your arm is all the way up, like that. Then you lift up, then you pull out, and then you snip. And see, now it's nice and clean. It's ready to go for the next shot. I don't know if you can see them good, but they're real nice stitches. 6 millimeters. Check the top, check the bottom. Of course, you cut all these off. So, and let me show you the slowness, if that's a word. Again, hold your thing, trailing threads, line it up, stop it. You just got to hold the trailing threads for the first stroke. You let them go, and then you want to always make sure your needle is up when you change directions, otherwise you'll start breaking them off. Then you reverse it a little bit, then you do it again. Let me show you how slow you can go around a corner. Now I can't do that with my Singer. My Singer would have been down here already. And if you're really worried about your corner or whatever, do it by hand. Nice and slow. So you get it exactly where you want it. Boom, and there you go. So that's another one. Okay, all the way up. You pull the foot, pull the project, and snip. Okay, let's show you a little more power. Everyone likes to do the power stroke. So I'll show you the power stroke. That was double. This is triple. So what do we got there? 8? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think we got 8. 8 thick. I don't think you'd ever have to do anything like that. But if you can fit it under this foot, which I can't, let's try that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is not crazy, because when you're putting seams together on these projects, you'll often have one pattern. You're going to be putting up another pattern. You may have some boxing. Some piping that's going to go on there too. And then you might have a hold down strip. You'll notice you're pulling some projects apart. If you have transitions on your cushion, like going from a flat part to a bull nose on the front, for example, where that meets, and before it goes up on there, to make everything taut, they have hold down strips. And all that is a strip of useless vinyl that you had left over. And you also sew that in the seam, so you'll have it sticking down like that, and you tack that to your plywood, and that holds the vinyl down before that transition. So anyway, you have to sew that in the seam. So you could have a couple of pieces of vinyl, you could have some piping, and you could have a hold down strip, all in the same seam. So you have to be able to do multiple levels of vinyl. If you can't do this, like in your mama's machine, you're probably in trouble. And you see that has absolutely no problem going through these 4. I don't think you'd ever go more than 4, but there could be 5 or 6, I guess. Again, let's bring it all the way up. Lift up our foot. And see if we can get it out of there. And there we got a big mess here, but I kind of showed you the strength of this thing, the accuracy of this thing, and like I say, you'll see tomorrow when I do the Singer how inaccurate. I use the Singer primarily for mooring covers and stuff when I'm doing big runs, mainly on canvas. So what I like, this is the only downside I see to this product here, is this here, this length of here to there. that is a problem. You'll get some projects where there's a lot of material on your right-hand side. There's no way you could feed it without keeping it on the right-hand side, so you got to roll it, roll, and try to stick it through here. And if it gets caught on something, it moves your stitch. So if you can have a long arm where you can get a lot more room in there, that's a big advantage. Unfortunately, those big advantages cost thousands of dollars when you get in those kinds of machines, so that's way out of my price range. I do have that on the Singer though, and so some projects I have to do, and I just physically can't get the project through that hole. Okay, lastly, let's do a quick, I promised you I'd do some piping today, so I'll give you a quick piping and then we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, in a piping, as I mentioned before, what you do is you make just get whatever color vinyl you're looking for. This is navy blue. And you take it on the back, and like measuring tool I told you, and you do an inch and a quarter mark. That's again why I like this clear one. You can see right through it. I'm right on the line, an inch and a quarter on both sides of it, so I know this is a good accurate thing. So I give me my mark there. Inch and a quarter here. Another mark there. Yeah, so just a grease pencil, black grease pencil here so you can see it well. Good pair of shears, like I say, you gotta have good shears. Start your deal, hold it, and you can run it right up. Try to stay on your line. Okay, so now we have an inch and a quarter strip, and we take this foam core I told you about before, measure that to the same length, snip it off. Find my back. Okay, so all we need to do now is wrap this around and hold it. Now, this comes with what they call a cording foot, and all it is, the back of the foot is concave, so that the this piping core slides right in that, and it somewhat holds it. You gotta pay attention, don't let it get away. So just line up again. You line up your edges. Often, again, because it's such a small piece, I won't do it. But what I showed you before is I will usually tack this with just a regular staple right here, so it holds it till I can get going. But since it's small, we'll try to get away with that today. And you put it under here, and this is the foot with the concave tunnel in there. Try to get right on the edge. Down with the dealy bob. Now you put that in the middle, roll it over. There. Again, now hold your trailing threads. Make sure you're going forward. I think we are. Then you go. Make sure you stay in the tunnel. And do a little reversing here. Lock that stitch. Okay. Make sure you push in, push in, push in. Make sure that the foam is right up against the edge, so you have a nice tight piping. Don't rush. Take your time. Now, it's not critical that these things are even, but it just makes life simpler if they're close. Again, wrap it around, hold it tight, rub it in your fingers till you get it nice and snug up there. Keep your eye on your foot, make sure you've got the tunnel in the right place. Again, you can see how you can control. Oops, it's getting away from me here. Very slow, very slow. And then you'll you'll end up cutting these and then I go by hand at the end. No problem with my, not good. I'm fraying my, it's another problem we'll have to get into. But anyway, and then you pull it up, do a little reversing, and you cut your party loose. And there you go, there's your piping. And of course you can do any color. I found when you want to connect these, see, I didn't hit, I'm off here a little bit, it's not so good, but again, you want, that's not real critical, because when you're sewing that and your plates are up against this, or you're boxing, whatever you're doing, you want to put it right up against here. And then you'll sew it with another one. It helps if you've got similar colors, so that if you do get a little away from the core here, that you don't notice the seam as much. But anyway, there it is. You can also buy, just to finish up, you can also, this is a really nice one I use for I told you about a cabin cruiser I did in Sunbrella Blue, and I put this piping, there's a bunch of pre-done piping. When it's generic like this, I think it's really nice. It's a ropey deal, but it really made a nice piping around the cushions, and it looked really sharp against the navy blue. But anyway, you can buy these, so you don't have to make this stuff. It's cheaper, obviously, to do this way. It's a little more expensive, but you can get these, and this is a kind of a cottony polyester deal. You can get vinyl ones and all that. Just remember the fact that it's not going to match your project. Thing like that, if you want to match your project, you gotta do it this way, make your own. So there we are. This is chapter 4, the Sailrite machine. I think you can do it with your mother's machine, with a beefier needle and thread. However, if you're going to do a bunch of projects, I definitely invest in something like this to make your life so much simpler. Anyway, you have a great day. See you next time.